Yo, what's up guys? Today I'm going to play another game in the 200 to 400 rating range, but this time with white pieces. So I couldn't get a 15-minute game, so I decided to do a 10-minute one. So when you're white, you're gonna grab the center, obviously. I'm choosing e4, you can also go d4. Okay, he's not contesting the center, so I'm gonna put 2 pawns in the center. Okay, so he's playing a Caro-Kann, that's an opening. So now we are gonna develop our knights. I'm going to choose this knight because this knight also defends the pawn. So in event of him taking, I can take back. I can also just recapture and solve the tension like that. But I'm gonna continue with development, so if he takes, I just take back with the knight. Okay, now he's attacking the pawn 2 times. So he's attacking my e4 pawn with the pawn and with the knight. So I need to defend this pawn 1 more time. Or I can also take or push. I guess let's push. Let's push the pawn and then we continue with the setup. Okay, he goes back. Now we just continue with the development. Bring the other knight out. Now bring the bishop out, so we cannot go to c4, but we can go to d3. This is the best square for the bishop. If takes, we can take back with the pawn. I don't care about doubling my pawns here, because then I can push my pawn to c4. So I'm not really scared of him doubling my pawns. So I'm just going to castle. If he takes, I take back. Okay, he doesn't. Now here we do have a Greek gift, but this is a really advanced tactic. We have bishop takes, king takes, knight check, king goes back, queen here, and he has to sacrifice the queen. But I'm not gonna do that, I'm just gonna play it simply. So let's continue with the development. I guess let's put the rook. Yeah, let's go rook e1, just putting the rook on the center file. Now let's develop the bishop. We can go here, also attacking the queen. I want him to take actually, or maybe not now, because now then I won't be able to go c5, I mean c4. But I cannot move my knight away because then he takes my rook. So I'm not really sure what to do. Let's just continue with the development. I'm going to bring my rook into the game. Okay. Now we complete the setup. And now we have to open up the center, but here we cannot really do that because... Okay, he does this. He opens it up himself. Now we can take, knight takes. I guess this is fine. So we take the pawn, knight takes. Now we can take this one, but let's calculate a bit. So bishop takes, queen takes, it's fine. Even if he takes the knight, we can just recapture, so this is all fine. So we can just take. And this pawn is always defended by the knight and by the rook. Okay, he goes f6. I guess we can just take the pawn. We can also take the bishop. And then he takes my bishop. I'm not going to complicate things, just take. If he takes with the pawn, we can bring the bishop back, so that in the event of him taking the knight, I take back with the bishop. Takes, now I just take, I can also take with the knight. Wait, this is interesting. If I take with the knight, I'm attacking his bishop and I'm attacking the queen. So let's do that. Let's take with the knight. I'm going to win a piece here, I think. He had this option, but then I could have trapped the bishop. Okay, but he goes here. My knight is defended, so I can just take his bishop. Okay, he attacks my knight. Now I have to bring my knight back somewhere safely. This square, I don't really like this square because then where will my knight go? So I guess we have two options. We can go back to c3 or back to d4. I like d4 because it's also attacking the queen. And now he hangs his queen. We don't take with the queen, we take with the knight, obviously. So knight takes queen, pawn takes. Now we do not take the pawn, we take the knight, because this knight is also free. Okay, we can also take the rook, so let's do that. And now we have to get to his king. I see that this pawn is undefended, so let's take it. And then maybe rook takes d5 and we just get in. Okay, he hung his knight. So let's take the knight. And now this is not checkmate because rook takes. So we can just bring in more pieces, I guess. We can go here to take this pawn with the rook, or we can also take this one. I guess I don't know, let's take this one. Maybe swing the rook here. Okay, but he just checkmates himself. So if I take with the queen, he can escape. But if I take with the rook, then this is a checkmate, a ladder checkmate. He cannot go anywhere. So this is mate. Now let's see the analysis. So he didn't put any pawns in the center, so I grab the center with two pawns. I protect my pawn, because let's say I develop this knight, he can take. So that's why I developed the B knight first, so the queenside knight, so that it's defending the pawn. So in the event of him taking, I can take back with the knight. But he doesn't do that. Now I could defend my pawn with a bishop, but the problem is takes. Okay, he doesn't take, he can take this one. And now I'm just down a pawn, so that's why I didn't want to do that. So I could go f3, but this is not really a move I want to do because it weakens this diagonal towards my king. So in the start of the chess game you should push d pawn and e pawn and maybe c pawn sometimes, but don't push the f pawn in the opening. So I chose to advance. I could also take here and resolve the problem with my undefended pawn like that. But I chose to push. Now he could jump forward. I would probably just straight, and then I cannot develop my knight here because the pawn would take. So I would swing my knight over like that. But he goes back. Now I develop my other knight. I develop my bishop. I'm never scared of him taking here, because later, let's say he castles, I can go here, he takes, I take, let's say just random moves, and now I get my big center and I can push again with d5. Now he castled. Here I had bishop takes, Let's see if the engine, yeah, engine approves. Bishop takes f7, but this is a very advanced tactic. It's called Greek gift. Check. He has to go here. If he goes back, then I move my queen over, and he has to sacrifice the queen because this is just checkmate. But obviously, I'm trying to play as a 400 rated, so I didn't do that. I just continued with my development. He goes b5. Now I just develop my bishop, attacking his queen. I develop, and then he chose to open up the center. Now look at his development. His rook is in the corner, this rook is also not doing anything, and this knight is also not developed. So, and he chose to open up the center. And look at my pieces. Everything is in the middle. Okay, this bishop is not really aimed at the center, but it's still developed. So that's why I won the pawn, because my pieces, I just have more pieces developed. So that's what you should also aim in your games. And I'm also noticing now that he was threatening c4 to trap my bishop. So taking was necessary. So I take, he takes back, and then I grab the free pawn. Now he goes f6, just take, simple move, and move my bishop to safety. He takes, I take back with the knight, I spot this nice tactic. So if I take with the queen, he can just take, and it's also a playable position, but I spot this tactic, attacking the queen, attacking the bishop. I guess he has this move, but then maybe I have c3 and his bishop is trapped. So that's how I won the first piece. And then I move back, attacking his queen. You should always look for moves that attack his pieces, but not pawn moves. So if you do, let's say he goes here, if you attack the queen with the pawn, this is not as good as attacking the queen with a piece, because you can move the piece back, you cannot move the pawn back. So that's why you should always aim to attack pieces with pieces, but not with pawns. Except maybe when they are here on g4 and you just throw in h3, because this also makes a luft for your king, so you're never gonna get back rank checkmated. Okay, but in the game, I attack his queen, and then he slides it to b5, but it's also attacked on b5, so I just take with the knight. I take his, then I take his knight, then I take his rook, then I take the pawn, then I take the knight. And now here you shouldn't stress about getting a checkmate. You can also just get rid of all of his pieces. So I just start by eliminating his pawns, and then he just blundered. But let's say, I don't know, he goes, let's say he just moves the rook randomly. I can also give a check, forcing him to take, and just going into this endgame. Then I would just, I'm just gonna make a random moves for him. I take his pawns, and then just promote my own pawn to get a queen, and then also get rid of his pawns, and then just slowly ladder checkmate him. This is, I think, the safest options, the safest option, because you're not risking any stalemate by doing that. But obviously in the game he checkmated himself. I take with the rook, obviously, because this is mate, because if I take with the queen, he can run away. And yeah, this is the game. Now I'm going to continue with the chess improvement series. I'm moving on to the 400 to 600 rating range, and hope you guys enjoyed the video.